thank all the people in here that I worked with. I know there's a few that I worked with this year getting the Raycom deal off the ground. It was a lot of fun. Got involved on November 15th with Joe Pendry, who was heading up the personnel department, and their vision was to work through college coaches to get the group of guys together for an all-star game, and my vision was to work through agents and players to get the game put together, because there's a natural disconnect that they didn't really see that I saw from my scouting background. There's a disconnect in that coaches are moving on. They're coaching the juniors, they're coaching the bowl game, and they're moving on, and they're recruiting. And these kids are left at campus going, who's supposed to tell me what to do now? And it's you guys. And that's where we had to go and reach out to. And fortunately, through all my years of experience and dealing with many of you through my NFL contacts and my days in Canada, we had good relationships, and we were able to sift through and get a good roster for the game the first year that we were proud of, and the production we put on we were proud of. And our sponsors are very excited about the future of the game in Montgomery, and you know, hopefully we'll be there for a long time. That's the goal. We're sitting in the hotbed of football, as many of you know. There's not a lot going on down there, and football is it. I mean, they live it, they love it, and they breathe it, and it's a great place to have an all-star game. You know, going forward, we just you know, one of our main goals is to secure a coaching staff, and we want to keep continuity by having the Dan Reeves of the world, that type of guy, coach our game every year, as long as he's able to do that, because that way you guys know that you're sending your kid to a game where he's going to get coached. And you can't pay a trainer to give a kid a week under that kind of tutelage. The guys like Tom Olivedati and Jim Bates that are going to be coaching on our staff. We really think that's an important part of selling our game to you guys, and into the recruitment of the players as well. So we feel like we got off the ground pretty well, and just going to keep working at it. Our sponsorships are all the ones we had this year: Allstate, Raycom, Russell's done a 3-year deal with us. Lexus has signed on late and was part of the End Zone club that we did indoors, and they're gonna jump on board and do some more things next year. So we feel good about the status of the sponsorship, which we all know doing these kind of games is crucial, you know. So I thank you all for helping. You and the volunteers is the way that kind of stuff gets done. It's amazing. And if you ever get a chance to say thank you for the people at Troy University, their video staff, their training staff, and their equipment staff did an unbelievable job helping us out for a week. It was, you know, we couldn't have pulled it off. It was like we had, you know, a team. They were there and did a great job. So if you're ever recruiting a Troy kid and you run across Chuck Ash, you know, the trainer down there that kind of headed it all up, you just thank him. You know, he's a great guy. The other thing that Neil asked me to spend a minute on is how you guys, you all, ladies included, best present a player to me. I'm a scout. I'm an old school guy. Okay, and I'm going to look at film. I'm going to look at film before I invite your guy. I really am. And I'm going to try to tell you that. I'm going to try to get back to you on that. And most of you I've worked with before, some of you I haven't. You understand how I work. And if I think your guy's good enough, then he's going to get invited. If I don't, then you'll understand why. Because I don't. I'm going to make that decision. And I'm going to ask you to send me film. I'm going to ask you to send me as many clips as you can. There's an advisory group that I work with, and they're going to look at tape too. And that's the way we feel like we can have the best players in our game and coach them the best way we can. Other than that, right now another project I'm working on that I think is very important to the guys that aren't here at this combine, and I'm working with the NFL regional combines as an evaluator. These are 10, 12 regional events. Some weekends we have them in 2 cities. They're run very, very much like this combine. The only thing that's missing is the medical. But it's an extremely structured event. It's all the measurables, and then it goes into position-specific drills, where myself and if we have a split weekend, there's 4 guys to go to one site and 4 guys to go to another site that are veteran evaluators, much like myself, that have worked for teams, done draft meetings. Some of them have run the draft meetings, and we are there to evaluate and send your guy to the super regional. I think that's what they call it, super national, and that's NASCAR. It's in Dallas, and we'll have we will have. They had around 200 last year. We'll have 300 this year. That's the number they want to hit. And if you send a client to it, I know it's $200 or $225 or whatever it is. You can. I'll guarantee you, the kid is going to get a legitimate shot on a great surface to show what he can do if he's prepared for a pro day. And if he has a scheduled pro day out of school, it'll take the anxiety out of him as well. And I believe in that. Take the nerves out. He's in there with, a lot of the places are indoors, and we run them. They're very organized. Neil's been to one. I invite any of you to come. I'll get you in. Just don't get hit. Stand and watch and see what it is, because it's a very legitimate tool. The NFL knows that is necessary, and it's a very useful tool for finding some rough diamonds, so to speak. Kids that are just out there that need a little bit more exposure, and especially if you got big guys. Big guys kind of get left out of the picture. If you got big guys, these regional things are really good for them. And I guess with that being said, any questions you might have on any one of either of those topics, the Raycom game or the regional deal?
Yeah, on the regional,
I'll answer.
Is there a cap per region on how many players you'll take?
Good question. I think they're trying to limit to 200 a day, but we've gone over, and so we've added dates. There's some there's 3 dates now where there's 2 locations going on at the same time. I know in Atlanta right now we have over 400 kids registered. So, it's filling up. We serviced. I wasn't involved in this last year. I was still with Toronto. I think right around 1,800 kids last year, and we're already beyond that as far as registration, and they're thinking we might hit close to 3,000 that sign up and go through the process of the regional.
Mike, is there X number that you take that are going to advance from each one? In other words, if you had 500
Not
kids...
a set number, no.
Okay.
It's totally based on how we feel guys are the quality of the town. I mean, in LA, we, I don't know that we took maybe a handful out of Los Angeles. And we just, you know, we're still looking at NFL quality guys, you know. We have to keep the standards high, and you need to know that too. You know, everybody needs to know that too. We're not just going to take some guys to take some guys. And we know that we're gonna have some guys that come in and do really well. And last week in Houston, we had some guys that did really well, and they're probably not going to go to our national super regional or whatever we're calling it, the super regional, I think, in Dallas at Jerry's Stadium, because they're probably going to go to their pro day and have a really good pro day, and then it's close to the draft, and so do we need to really do this again? Well, we understand that, but our service is to give them that stage to perform on. And, you know, you got a kid that you want him to work the kinks out, work the anxiety out, whatever the case may be, and get that exposure. Now he goes to school and he blows it up, and now you can kind of let him coast and let us film and do the rest of the talking for him.
Mike, what's your thought with, you know, the number of eyeballs that are on a guy in a pro day, let's say 5 or 6 scouts show up at a pro day to see a guy versus him going on and then should he perform at that super regional if there's only 5 or 6 scouts?
Well, I think the more eyes on him.
That's what I think.
I mean, the more eyes on him, the better you have. From what I understand, there was over 100 representatives of NFL teams at the super regional last year in Detroit. And that number will grow. I can guarantee you that number will grow because part of the reason was because there was a lot of guys that were exposed through this super region, through the regionals, that some teams didn't really scout, and it kind of exposed their staffs as, hey, where'd this guy come from? Who knows about this guy? And so I think that the teams have taken notice, and to what the NFL has built on this combine thing, that it really is a tool to get exposure to some guys that may not have gotten, graded high enough to get here, which, you know, they can only bring what they bring 350 here. We all know there's more than 350 really good football players in the United States. And so this is a tool that lets those kids get that exposure. And I can guarantee you, you know, there's kids, the last few places we've been, that when the NFL teams get the results, those guys are going to have a little star by them on pro day and saying, you make damn sure you look at this guy because he just did this, and this at the regional combine for the NFL, because they're paying for it. So, yes, sir.
So, what happens, to frame this right, with the data that you all compile at the various regional combines?
Well, each young man, let me maybe I can help you with this. Each participant is given a sign-in code number, right? Yeah. And he can then log in and watch all this stuff is videoed at the workout as well, just like here. So you can type in John Smith's. If John Smith gives you his little code number, you can type him in and see everything he did at the regional workout. Every ball he caught, you know, every drill he did, just like here. And the NFL teams have that access to do the same thing. Yeah, they stand up there with their number, right? Show your number, all that. Do their height, weight, the whole deal, just like they do here.
Mike, along with the actual video clips they have, does it have the actual hard data as far as if they were in 4.42, 4.57s? Are those figures available as well?
I think they're all on that website, yeah. Last time I looked at them, I'm pretty sure they are. If they're not, just call me. I'll give them to you. I mean, it's free. We want guys in the league. We want to help your clients get into the league, get that exposure to get into the league. And I think that you know, if I remember correctly, 87 guys that went through the regional combines and the finals signed contracts. And 14 ended up on 53-man rosters, and 14 ended up on practice squads out of the group. So, you know, we're looking for more. We're looking for more, and it'll be more because the heightened awareness that it's created in the scouting departments around the league. You know.
Mike, take us through the timing of the invitation process for an All-Star game. When did you have your first kid invited? When were you about 50%? And then how far out from when the kids actually showed up were you pretty much full?
Well, they had already sent out the first wave of invitations before they hired me, or we wouldn't have sent out invitations to 39 kickers. Because kickers sign up first. Justin will vouch for that. I mean, kicker gets it. He's coming. Shit, I'm going. So we ended up with, you know, 2 kickers on one team, and the agent had a great, you know, had a great argument. You know, I mean, it's All-Star game. Don't take 2 kickers and a punter. I mean, what's my guy going to do? Split time? You know, he had a great argument, and so I had to kind of smooth that out. So in answer to your question, they had already sent out a first wave of invitations before November 15th when I got on board and kind of started tweaking things a little bit. And then, well, shit, I remember talking to you and beep. You know, you were saying, wow, already? You're going to lose half of them. You know, you're not going to sleep. You know, and all that. And I go, well, I don't know. It's the first time. So, you know, I don't know, Neil. I'd be making something up if I told you numbers was when we were 50%, when we were this and we were that. I just remember telling you we weren't losing them that quick. You know, we lost a few and had to replace a few. And you know, I know Brian's here from Test, and I don't know if there's any other trainers here, but you know, I've been fortunate to be locked in with a lot of guys that train guys, and I can call them if I want to check on a kid or I need a kid, and you know, they got a guy that's a legitimate guy because you're not paying to go send some kid to train if he's not a legitimate guy. You know, and I filled some spots that way too, but you know, it was an interesting process to work through. You had a question?
Talking about the regional,
Yeah.
How long before the guy finds out if he's invited to the super regional?
You know, I think it's posted like that next Monday or something. I'm pretty sure. It's call me. I'll tell you Sunday night. I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, sometimes I skip the details. But if you got a guy there and you want to know how he did, and it's, you know, it's important to you that day, which it is. I mean, just you can call me. And I'll let you know, but we try to post it, you know, pretty quickly. Anything else? And thank you, Neil Stratton, for doing this.